All right. Hello, everybody. What's going on? So, Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds. We are going to be live streaming today all about the AYANEO Pocket S2 Pro. This was sent for review here, and we're going to be taking a look at it. This will be just a first look. We're not going to be taking game requests today or any really questions. Stay tuned for our second live stream. We're going to dig into all of that. This is going to be focused on benchmarking the device a bit, looking at Switch performance, looking at Android games, and then just doing some overall, testing. Now, I have not had really any time yet to play with this beyond a little bit on our podcast yesterday, and I apologize in advance because my internet connection where I'm at right now is about 56K modem style, so you might have to contend with a little bit of stutteriness, a little bit of issues here. If it gets too bad, we'll end the stream and just do this another day, but I really hope we can get through this together, and we'll see where we go here. Live chat, you hear me okay? You see me okay? Does it run Crysis? Yeah. Benchmarking stream, get your Excel docs out. That's right. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you might have seen me unbox this yesterday on the podcast on our channel. If not, check that out, and that'll give you just an idea of what's in the box. Basically, it's just this 8-way floating D-pad. So it's swappable D-pads, which is really cool, and then you have this little tool to swap it out. Now, I tried this a little bit, and it's not really for me. It works fine, and it's well enough, but I don't know. When I use my Xbox Elite controller, I also don't use the 8-way, so we'll probably stick with just the 4-way today. You do have removable joystick caps, which is nice. So if you have bigger AYANEO joysticks or swap outs, here's the connection it uses, and you can get some bigger stick caps on. We have today with us not Rob, but we do have Andrew, who's basically Rob, but with red hair. Andrew?
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
I don't have
think
my
so.
own YouTube channel.
You do now, technically. I won't say anything.
There's nothing there.
Okay.
It's only created for the sole purpose of you asking me to create it.
Well, I wanted to tag somebody.
You could tag something. Probably not okay for me to say on live stream.
That's fair. Okay, so this runs the new Snapdragon G3 Gen 3. This is a brand new chipset for us. We have not benchmarked before, and it's the latest, greatest in just performance. Now, this one is available now from AYANEO on their Indiegogo, and we'll take a look real quick at what they have going on. Okay, so far their funding goal is up to $83,000. This is Pocket S2. There's a Pro model, which I have here, and also the non-Pro. The one I have here is the 512 gigabyte and 16 gig RAM SKU. You also have other options here, starting at $439, which is nice to have a lower price point there. That's going to be the more basic. It's the non-Pro. The non-Pro meaning it doesn't have that 8-way disc swap out, as well as a few other spec differences. And going up to about $500, you have the S2. You can get the white model here or the black, and that's going to be 8 gigs plus 12 plus, what was that? 12 gigs plus 256. And these are shipping in July, by the way. Moving on up, you have 560 for the next model up. That's going to give you 16 gigs plus 512, and that's the Pro line. And now moving on up to the retro color option here, which is really the best looking in my opinion, but it will cost you a pretty penny at $600, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, and there's lots of options here. Moving on up to the $700 price point, this one's going to have a 16 gig and 1 terabyte configuration. And if you really want the B-Duck, which is, I mean, come on, that's the most fun looking. Look at this freaking thing. It's ridiculous. This one has 16 gigs plus 1 terabyte, $700. And if I were to back this, I would probably be crazy enough to order that one. Look at that thing. There is even a higher SKU. So if you want to go even higher, if you really want to deck the thing out, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte, RP model here, retro power. This is the early bird version, $700. I hope I read those all right. Oof, there's a lot of SKUs. There's also early bird versus, regular retail pricing. So just take a look at the different tier options. If it's for you, it does ship in July. And if you've been around the block for a while, AYANEO Indiegogos, they come and go, and then the next model is released, So, and then also remember, generally, the batch 1 units, sometimes you have some QA concerns. So far, in my initial testing, I'm not seeing any major glaring issues with this, but I will report back anything that I see. And I'm always a little leery of early batch stuff, but as long as we can get this right in batch 1 and then batch 2, they just do some minor adjustments. That'd be really good. And it's available, of course, in our description, rh-go.link/AYANEO Pocket S2 IGG. Clickable there. It is affiliate, of course, and it's no extra cost to you. All right, guys. Well, Andrew, did I miss anything on the specs?
No, I don't. I think you nailed it pretty good.
All right. Well, that's the chip anyways. Also, if you're wondering about the battery life, this one is increased from the original Pocket Go line. It is at...
So if you get the regular Pocket S2, it's 8,000 milliamp hour. And
Okay.
then with 40 watt power delivery charging speeds. And then if you get the S2 Pro, it's 10,000 milliamp hours with a 60 watt power delivery charging speeds.
Ooh. Okay.
So you get those are the three. The other main difference between the S2 Pro and the S2 is the weight, because of the larger battery. So the S2 Pro is 440 grams, whereas the S2 is 428.
Okay, that's fair. What about for heat dissipation? So it looks like we do have active cooling on this. So you have that air intake on the back, and you have the fan up the top. Having that big battery, of course, is really nice. It is going to be a bit heavier here, though, because of that. And just do take that into account. And as far as like the actual body of the thing, it is CNC aluminum, has an alloy midframe. It's a plastic back, all glass front. So far, it's not really getting fingerprint smudging. They do have this anti-smudge coating to the front and to the back. So it's kind of a matte finish, and I'm not seeing smudging. But realize, it is similar to some other devices that use the black coating. So you might run into that, but I think they're really trying to address that this go around. I can see just here, if we switch over to my feed real quick, I can see, and I know we're at 720p today. I apologize for that as well. And you do see a little bit, and then you wipe it off. But I wouldn't say it's as pronounced as some of their other devices. I know they say this is quality to have this coating, but I would honestly prefer... Remember when they had the AYANEO Pocket DMG? That one, I liked it before they made the changes, and you had the retro power colorway that didn't have that coating at all. I prefer that. It's a little more grainy feeling, but just kind of bugs me when you have all those smudgies.
Would you dare say that it's more retro feeling?
I mean, I think so. I don't know.
I would. It feels better. It feels more like my original handhelds, as opposed like the DMG.
Oh, the DMG.
Yeah. With that coating you were talking about.
Yeah, I just prefer it that way. So, but they're going to do what they're going to do here. As far as like the button layout goes, there we go. What OB Play says, I like the smudgy plastics. Yeah, maybe it is smoother and more comfortable. You know what? That's fair. That's true. You do have this clicky D-pad. It's kind of a tall D-pad. I think it's so they make it so you can swap it out easier. So it's a little taller than usual on their last Pocket S2, which was this kind of, if I remember right, this kind of mushy D-pad. I didn't love the original Pocket S. I didn't love the original Pocket S. It was not very comfortable. It was lighter weight, but the ergonomics didn't feel very good to me. And the buttons were a little bit short for my liking and a little bit smaller. So you do have a bigger D-pad, clicky, and then you have these rubber membrane ABXY, which these sound good. They're not very loud, but they're about as loud as the Retroid Pocket Flip 2 buttons. And they're a little bit bigger, and I really appreciate that. Joysticks are pretty small, but like I said, you can swap those out. You do have RGB lighting behind the joysticks, and let's look at those dead zones. It snaps back to center pretty easily, and you do get full coverage. So yeah, dead zones, we are looking good. I got Citron, actually the Snapdragon G3 Gen 3 optimized version of Citron in here, the latest version, and this is rocking at the, let's see, gaming profile as far as the performance mode goes, and you do have fan modes, their usual setup here for their quick menu, from off, low, high, and full. I think we're okay staying in high right now. And gaming, you can switch between that mode, balance, streaming mode, and then max performance. We might push up to max just to benchmark, and we are going to do a Geekbench and a 3D Mark benchmark today. That's really the focus of this first test session, because we haven't seen this chip before, and we want to know what the heck it does. So do stay tuned for our follow-up live stream, where I will have much better internet, where we're going to be showcasing different games. We'll take your requests and your questions. So today I'm going to refrain just as mostly from getting into questions and stuff. And the color black is a dust magnet too, so you get a little bit of dust there. But beyond that, let me just tell you this. This thing feels freaking premium, more premium than the first Pocket S, and it just feels more comfortable. It's just the way your hands wrap around it, especially like right there in the back, it just feels really, really solid and premium. Probably the most premium Android device I've seen from AYANEO yet. Like, seriously, this feels incredible. You do have M1 and M2 on the top for your extra function buttons. You have a fingerprint reader up top. You have volume up and down. And then you have nice, quiet shoulders, a little bit of grit to them, kind of a clicky, quiet clicky. And then you have analog Hall triggers with also this nice grit applied to them, also quiet. You have Hall joysticks, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then you have your IS space and your various function buttons. Start and select's over there. And I'm not actually sure what this button does. But what does that do? Does it do something? Maybe that's a programmable button. You do have access to a micro SD card on the bottom. You have down-firing stereo speakers, a 3.5 headphone out, which I know is very appreciated on these AYANEO Android devices, and then just USB-C on the bottom. And that's about it. Oh, what's on the right? What is this? What does that do? Oh, whoa! That's a quick access for... changes performance. What in the world?
It's like the the physical switch that they had on the original Pocket S.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yes, I love that. So this boosted it to max. The fan is at full speed. Let's see if you guys can hear that fan. Can you hear that at all, Andrew? That's the fan at max settings, and that's definitely going to cool it off. That is definitely.
Yeah, you can kind of hear it blowing into the microphone.
So we can switch to power saving, we can switch to balance, and we can switch to, let's see, let's go back to gaming. And as far as like the brightness goes, we have minimal brightness, and there's an extra dim option you can flip on if you want, and all the way to max brightness, which gets very, very freaking bright. This is a non-OLED panel, but it's a very nice crisp IPS. As far as like device comparison goes, right now I only have the Magic X 040, which is a touchscreen Nintendo DS shmup machine, basically. It has the A133P. Not comparable at all. Like, don't compare this at all as far as performance or anything goes. It's just a size comparison. Maybe a better size comparison actually is going to be my Nintendo Switch 2, which I actually also have here. A little bit of dust.
Man, that really it really reminds me how big the Switch 2
Yeah.
actually is.
Very similar design, honestly.
That's true, yeah. Minus the detachable Joy-Cons.
Because it has that honkin' big battery, it's a little heavy. Not not terrible. I think it's about the same weight as the Switch 2, it feels like, but this is just distributed over a wider area. And then for the 040, I mean, this is a very lightweight device, but that's about all I have for comparison. People are going to be like, that's the most random comparison you could possibly make. Yeah, that's what I got. I can also show you with the phone, though. So let's get out. Let's get out my Pixel 9a. Has a slim cover on it. And that'll about do us for that. Okay, let's look at this battery. Yeah, so the Pocket S2 Pro has 10,000 milliamp hours with a 6.3 inch screen. The regular S2 has a little smaller at 8,000 milliamp hour, so it'll be lighter weight too, which I appreciate. Same screen size, both have active cooling. The original Pocket S actually had a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, active cooling, and a 6-inch screen, a little bit smaller device. The Evo, by comparison, is a 7-inch screen, 8,600 milliamp hour, Razer Edge 5000, G Cloud 6000, OLED, Switch 4310, Switch 2 is at 5220. So this is the biggest battery of the bunch. This thing, if you configure it for battery saving mode and you just kind of set it up for the best utilization, I mean, you could get some pretty crazy battery lifetimes out of this, I'm guessing. So it's impressive. If you want the big boy, you want the beast, I would say go for the Pro. Get that 10,000 battery. That's freaking insane. Also, yes, hello live chat. Looking at a few other things here. In Nintendo, if you're watching this, look, I'm just playing my backup. There's my game, Mario Kart 8, right there. Enough of me yapping. I'm going to play a little gameplay before we move on to the next topic. So this is running Citron, like I was saying, the latest version. This is running in, I believe, docked mode right now. So that should be 1080p. Did we already cover? I don't think we hit all the specs. Did we cover the exact specs of the screen? Andrew, maybe you'd want to read off just the entire spec sheet while I show some gameplay or something.
I gotcha. Yeah, so it's a 6.3-inch borderless, high brightness, natural color screen. It's an IPS. It's an IPS LCD. It's 2560 by 1440, 600 nits peak brightness, 466 ppi, 120% sRGB, 90% DCI-P3. That it's pretty much the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same as the original Pocket S. Oh, Sony's got it up here. Got it up here on the screen. Vibration motor, which I guess this is another instance of them wanting to highlight the vibration motor that they use. It's a 0815X axis linear motor. Max TDP at 20 watts.
Nice.
The one thing I did want to say earlier is with the S2 and the S2 Pro, you can only get the Retro Power B-Duck in the S2 Pro. You're limited to the Obsidian Black or Ice Soul White if you want just the regular Pocket S2. And then the 8GB, 128GB is being gate kept to just Obsidian Black. So you can't even get the white version.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, I mean, if I were to back this, to be honest with you, I'd probably buy the lower end model, the $400 some version. Not only is it the cheapest for the cheapest access to this crazy brand new G3 Gen 3 chip, but also it's going to be lighter weight, a little smaller battery, sure. But for my use case, for me, I would probably go for that one. Yeah, memory 8 gigs. You're limited a bit there. But it is, if you're getting the early bird price, only $440. And you can use a micro SD card for all your game storage and all that, which is what I'm doing here anyways.
Yeah, I'd be the opposite end. I would be all in the pro camp. I don't know if I would get retro power or the B-Duck. But I like the future proofing is a thing in my mind, even if it's not real.
But how long?
But
How long do you think you're going to keep the device realistically? Like, if you think about that, us as
it's not
retro
necessarily like
handhelders,
it's not necessarily about how long I'm going to keep it. It's more so like if this time last year, if you told me we were going to have PS3 emulation on Android, I
right?
would have laughed in your face.
Yeah,
Or that we would have multiple versions of multiple ways to play Windows games on Android. And that's kind of the future proofing that I'm talking about, because we don't know what could come. Like the Xbox is the last. I forget how Rob phrases it.
it's the final frontier.
Yeah, that's right. Xbox is the final frontier. So like, who knows? Maybe this time next year we'll have Xbox, but you'll need at least 12 gigabytes, or there will be to get good performance at least.
Yeah,
And I know we have Xbox through like Rocknix and stuff like that, but it's not. I'm talking in terms of I can download the APK from GitHub or wherever it's hosted and just install it like any other app.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. You and I are always on the opposite sides of this. You want the highest end, top end, and I'm usually okay going for base models. For some reason, like I don't know. When I'm playing for leisure, I don't push my devices too much. Like the games that I personally play, even for Switch emulation, I'm probably going to be ending up emulating something like Mega Man 11 versus Mario Wonder or whatever, or like Tony Hawk. But I'm okay like switching out of docked mode down to the 720p regular handheld mode. And even then, like I think you're going to be able to do docked mode 1080p Switch emulation just fine on the 8 gigs. And you're spending the least amount of money to get access to that processor. So, but yeah, I see your point there too. And I think we'll always just be eternally on opposite ends of that. So
Just don't. I don't have a lot of time, like a lot of extra time. So like I don't have time to tinker, like the way that the way that Rob does, basically.
right. Well, I
Like
don't
Rob
either. Like
right, and I know you don't. So
if it doesn't work, I just stop emulating. I just move down to the next system down. I'm like,
right.
this isn't a
So
Switch machine.
Like Rob will tinker and mess with it to get things running the right way. I'll get frustrated and find something else to do.
Yeah.
Like if it's not just a quote unquote like plug and play scenario. But
Yeah. No, that's fair, man.
At the same time, I do love me some Linux cheaper pocket handhelds too. They all serve a purpose.
They all serve their purpose. And one thing AYANEO does is they do provide like a model for everybody. On the lower end, if you want that, or it seems like a lot of the buyers of AYANEO products generally do go for the highest end device, the highest spec. You always see the most orders placed under the most expensive version. So they have their niche. They have their loyal niche, and they'll keep on buying that higher end option, especially with those unique colorways. The B-Duck, even the Pocket S had that Sakura pink model, which was really cool looking.
Yeah, which was that came out of no, because that wasn't a launch color, was it? I think
No, it wasn't.
later.
It came later on, yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it looks like right now the most popular model is the S2 Pro 16512.
So that's up there, but it's not the
That's
highest
five,
one.
no, it's 5. It's right smack dab in the middle. It's 560.
Okay. I mean, that's all right.
And then the next one is the Pocket S2 Pro 16 gig, 1 terabyte. That's 660, 24 out of 200 claimed.
Okay.
The least claimed is the base model, 5 out of 100.
It seems to be always the case. But put me in that camp. Like that's where I'm at with it.
But this is also like people will go and buy this after that's finally, once you can go buy it, they'll find out about it later, and then I'm sure the Indiegogo discount is playing a factor here. Like some people are going to spring for the higher models
Right.
because they're saving a few bucks.
Right. Yeah. So let us know in the chat, in the comments, if you were to get this. I know a lot of you are like, nope, look at that price. I'm out. I'm done with this. But if you were going to get this, which would you be most interested in? Do you want the base model or do you want all the power? Somewhere in the middle. I don't know. It's always interesting to me just to hear everyone's thoughts on this because everyone's so different and it's such a subjective thing. And AYANEO doesn't want to lose any part of the market share. So they're going to continue to offer devices to all sectors, to every gamer, it seems like. Recently we had their Pocket Ace Indiegogo, and that was a little bit smaller 3x2 device, also had a powerful chipset in it. That one was pretty divisive in itself as well, but they're always going to continue to release these various SKUs and locking honestly the coolest looking ones behind the higher price points, which always bums me out just a little bit. But so far, man, yeah, I am really digging what they've done with this one. I don't have like any huge concerns right off the bat as far as like just the quality goes, other than I'm noticing when I switch between power modes, it will sometimes screw up what I'm doing in the game. Like for instance, Citron, I was emulating Mario Kart just now. When I switched the power mode, it totally borked my emulation session. I had to quit out, go back in. Same thing with Horizon Chase. It froze it up when I switched between the power modes. So I'm going to check back for any OTA updates, and I'm not sure what that's about. It seems like AYANEO is making these really sleek hardware devices. They're kind of like people say the Apple of retro handhelds. And the Android software lags usually a little bit behind. This is definitely, they're iterating on what they've been delivering us this year, but there's a little bit of wonkiness here, and this is, of course, as usual, a engineering sample, a pre-production prototype model. Not everything's finalized on it. It looks pretty close as far as the actual, handheld goes. And they did send out some review guidelines, which to be honest with you, I haven't even read yet, but I will before the next stream, and I'm sure that I have done something stupid here today. Let's listen to these speakers though. So Horizon Chase, it's my speaker tester. Let's see if you can hear this. Down-firing speakers. I'm going to keep talking so it doesn't cut us out. But we can hear that okay?
It's very faint. It's very faint.
Very faint.
Even when you're talking to it, it's like almost non-existent.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep talking. So while I'm talking, hopefully the sound is going to bleed through my voice and the compression will noise gate us out. Well, hopefully you heard some of that. If not, I'm going to turn it up and see.
It seems like it gets pretty loud, though.
It does get very loud. It doesn't have a lot going in the bass, but that mid-range is popping. And the treble sounds really good. Because it's down firing, it's not going to be as crisp as if it was firing forward, for instance, on the 040 here, which I appreciate. But it does have the advantage of, when you're playing this and your hands are over it, the other problem with that is that your hand is going to cover where the speaker is firing at you, so you're going to make it muffled. So at least like this, the sound is hitting your palms and then firing at your face. So not too muffled there. And loud, crisp, clear.
Screen does look good for an IPS.
Yeah, let's look at that screen.
I mean, I know Horizon looks good regardless on basically anything, but
Yeah.
viewing angles look good too.
Yeah, viewing angles are pretty solid.
But again, that's I think that's one of the benefits of having an IPS panel.
Yes, sir. Ah!
Yeah, no, that looks. I'm excited for this one. I don't know if I doubt I'll pick it up. I'll have to wait for Our buddy Team Retro to buy it, and then I'll buy it from him.
Yeah, right. If you all want to see 3D benchmark, what do we want? Wildlife Extreme, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't download.
Oh.
Oh, be prepared for my connection to get very terrible right now by turning on Wi-Fi. I'm about to eat up my bandwidth, but
It's Wildlife and Wildlife Extreme.
yeah, JT, if you want to know about the fan is very, very quiet right now. It's on high. When you bump it up to the max fan setting, then it becomes a jet engine, but you also are going to cool down that chip very effectively, as from what I can see. So, and while we're doing that, let me pull up the review guidelines to make sure that I'm covering the basics at least.
When he asking the hard-hitting questions when I'm not prepared.
Maybe switch over back to maybe some other footage, Sony away from me, while I'm downloading this.
The RG Slide weighs 379 grams compared to... I gotta pull it back up. Somewhere in the spec sheet. Oh, 428 grams. So it's 379 versus 428 for the S2, and then 440 for the Pro. And I saw you ask in the chat earlier, Michael Benny, it's Android 14 it ships with. Stubbs, what Obi plays asks, how are the sticks?
The sticks are small. The sticks are small, but they have full range of motion. There's no dead zone issues. And I mean, yeah, it's your usual AYANEO sticks. It feels like the same or similar ones that we saw on the Pocket Ace. So yeah, I have no complaints about the sticks.
Let's see here. What would you compare this with? The Odin 2 Portal?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, no, not for the screen though, but
no, I mean outside of the there are no other G3 Gen 3 devices right now. So in terms of, but I'm fairly certain that this is just basically an overclocked and better optimized version of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Because like again, from what I understand, the differences, the performance differences without messing with drivers isn't all that. There aren't that many, but it's better optimized, so meaning better battery life, and yeah, again as far as I understand. So yeah, the Odin 2 Portal is what you're going to be looking at as a direct competitor for now. That D-pad's so cool. I wish I could have got my hands on the AYANEO 3.
yeah, I'll be another minute, guys.
Let's see here. Yeah, I like the fact that AYANEO does include some touchscreen mapping out of the box, so you don't have to download anything else. Although I haven't really messed with it myself, even though I have quite a few AYANEO devices.
One thing to remember on these Snapdragon G3, the Gen 3 chip, even their last chip here, is that While the performance is clocked a little bit higher, you might see, than the mainline chips, you do see a little bit of compatibility, sometimes with Android games in particular. That was one thing I keep seeing. Particular Android games might not be compatible, so do stay aware of that. I haven't found any yet, but not like I've tested a bunch yet either. One I want to try later before the next stream is going to be Prince of Persia Lost Crown. That's a major one that people keep asking about. And I would love to be able to test out Call of Duty Warzone, but that's getting delisted and not supported anymore. So we're not going to do that today. As far as like emulator compatibility, the turnip driver has been integrated directly into the G3 platform, which is nuts. So use the latest turnip driver if you want the best performance. I need to load that on. I've been using stock switch drivers so far. So we are going to switch over to that. For Winlater, if you're interested in that, both Turnip and Vortec drivers are fully compatible and allow for a little bit better operation there, smooth operation. By the way, I'm looking through some of the review guidelines here. It sounds like I'm a robot because I'm reading some of this. Pocket S2 series recommended testing. So they hope that us reviewers test out G series performance boosting, Zenless Zone Zero on Android, Grid Legends, and Prince of Persia Lost Crown, they say, is supported with maximum settings and a stable 60 FPS. So they claim. I don't have it loaded on today, and my internet's too crappy to get it on right now. Device spoofing is another feature if you want to get other things working that aren't normally compatible. That doesn't always work in practice, but in theory it should. Can you hear me okay, Andrew, by the way? Is my mic coming through?
Yeah, you sound good. I wasn't trying to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're good. I was making sure. Okay. For performance benchmarking, they do recommend the battery be above 50% when you do your benchmarking. When you unplug the charger, it will support 40-watt fast charging and 60 watts PD fast charging. So during benchmarking, they recommend to disconnect the charger to avoid actual performance throttling because of the heat issues that can happen if you're charging while playing. But you could play like that. IA button gives you your IA space, of course, performance list. You can set that to extreme mode and fan speed to max if you want the very best. So we'll do that when we're doing the performance benchmark on the Wildlife Extreme test here. And they got a Wildlife Extreme benchmark of 5,200 points. So we're going to see if we can get above or below that. 5,200 is what we're aiming for on the Wildlife Extreme. As far as battery life goes, so it offers a 600 nit brightness screen. So as long as you're not keeping that at full brightness, it definitely should sip battery life on this chipset. Using a balanced mode as well for the performance generally is going to be best to give you the best performance versus battery life. So they say. Screen brightness about 50%. And then let's see. I mean, this guide keeps going. Basically, it's the same stuff generally you're going to see on their Indiegogo page. If you will really want to get in depth and see every little nook and cranny about the device, I don't want to bore you with it over this live stream right now. 360-degree range of motion on those joysticks. Blah 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 blah.
I wish they would have they've got the D-pad, the customizable D-pad and all. I wish they would have used the full size sticks from the Pocket Evo.
I wish, yeah. I like bigger sticks. I like bigger sticks.
Right, and it's not like there's not space there for it.
Yeah. Well, this is about 10 seconds left, so I'm going to sneak in a little bit of gameplay on this new. People are interested in this one. This is made by Magic X. It's called the 040, another one I'm going to be doing a live stream on in a video later this week. But this is for sale now, by the way. I'll drop that in the description over at Magic X. Like $75, I think it was.
Yeah, and then $10 for shipping.
10 for shipping, not too bad. Yes, here's your shmup machine. Yeah.
This ever since this first showed up, this screams Rob.
Yeah, this is a Rob machine for sure. He's a shmup guy.
It's like that smart display that he told everybody to buy, but
I
miniaturized.
I just like that they used an Android build that has touchscreen finally, and it's already like pre-configured, which is really nice.
How's it feel like grip, like ergonomics wise? Is it like, do you feel crampy?
No, because it's so lightweight. So, and they have honestly, they have the shoulders placed in a nice position for my hands, so it rests pretty cleanly right there.
Nice.
And this is what I was really impressed with is that, so the most demanding DS game is, for me in my testing, has been Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. And this is one that I was playing for quite a while last night after our stream. Let's see if I can find it there. C-A. Yes. So Nintendo DS is nice on there because you can just have the top screen, you have the bottom screen. People really want 3DS on this, but that wouldn't look as good because normally 3DS has a wider top screen and a square bottom screen. So this is more ideal for Nintendo DS specifically.
That's just an IPS screen, right?
Yeah, it's just IPS. I mean, we could do... the IPS on the AYANEO definitely pops a little bit more, but...
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, but I'm just saying it doesn't look bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, the test is ready. Now we're going to run this test.
Turn off the Wi-Fi on it.
Right. Turn off Wi-Fi.
Just because you're getting a little choppy. Just a little choppy.
Okay. And we're in max performance mode now, by the way. Max fan, max performance. And I have a slideshow a moment ago with the 040, maybe on purpose, because, there's that like sort of iffy embargo going on. I don't quite know exactly what we can show. So basically it was a GIF. It was a bunch of pictures strung together, right?
Yeah.
I still don't understand. When, where, what, when I can talk about what I can't. So
it would be it's one thing if like embargoes are not uncommon. Especially obviously in the tech space, but
yeah,
it seems like a bunch of companies just it's like when everybody jumped on the AI train initially, they tried to put AI into everything, and these companies are now like, oh, embargo, that sounds like a cool word.
Yeah, it feels like that. Well, and we were talking on the podcast last night. Basically, a lot of these companies now are being sold in mainstream stores in the West, like Best Buy and Target and everything, and of course Amazon. So it's, yeah, I think they're trying to professionalize whatever you want to say there. So what do we see? So we have a 5310 for our score versus their what? What did I say? Was it 5200? Let me pull that back up.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. That is pretty good.
Let me find it.
What happened to... I thought we had more.
More what?
We have like it's called Band Stupid Benchmarking thing.
To compare against?
Yeah.
Okay, so they got 5,200 points. So we got 110 points above their benchmark for it. Nice. You do see a little bit of variability with these, but we did perform better than their own benchmark, which is nice to see, unless they kind of were playing it safe. I don't know. But so we got 5310. If you want to see here, particulars, 91%, 30 degrees Celsius, 23 to 39 FPS. battery stayed the same. We had no battery drop, which I love. So that kind of proves the point of like, okay, this battery is honking, it's huge, and the chipset's pretty power efficient, which is cool. Now
the extreme test is going to be the one that really puts that
and we
to
don't
the test.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next live stream where we can do a little bit deeper on that. I don't want to make everyone wait through the extreme test. That's going to be a while. I don't even want to make you wait for so that was the GPU test. The CPU test is going to be here in Geekbench. This as well will take a few minutes. Does it not want to?
Saying?
There's nothing, just erroring out. I think it wants me to download something. Stay tuned for the next stream where we benchmark the CPU. I'm not going to wait. I know that test takes like 20 to 30 minutes, so let's not.
Take a while.
Let's not. So Mario Kart was running full speed. Mega Man 11, one of my other favorite games to test. Not like it's super demanding or anything, but yeah, and in the next stream, I will be comparing to more devices in its class, like the RG557 from Manbernick, the AYN Odin 2 line, and God, what else? What else, Andrew? I guess AYANEO's own devices, the Pocket Ace.
Pocket Ace. Man,
What did I do?
I can't even keep up with. It feels impossible to try and keep up with everything that's been
Yeah,
launched.
right.
Kenneth Rogers wants a RG557. That would be that would
Yeah.
that's a
We'll do a
bloodbath.
5. Yeah, we'll do a 557. It's going to embarrass Ambernick pretty badly, but because I mean, if you're wanting to throw money at a retro handheld and you really want Android, I mean, this one so far is definitely having no problems in anything that it's doing as far as performance goes. Some funny software quirks, like I said earlier. Don't change the performance mode while you're playing a game, it appears. It just seems to get everything all wonky. So
I did manage to remember to put the numbers in for the slide.
oh, good.
3D Mark, the 3D, so that's the Unisoc TA20 with, what they put in there, 8 gigs of RAM?
Yeah.
The 3D Mark Wildlife was 2017, and we just got
Is-
5310 out of the
Yeah.
the Pocket S2 Pro.
Is this the highest benchmark we've seen on our testing results?
No, we have, I benchmarked a tablet for some reason. I don't remember why. Oh, because it was running the Dimensity 8300.
Yeah.
That benched at 6613, and then Ben so graciously put in his Pixel 9 Pro, and that got 8971. But those devices aren't. It's
Right. That's not a
they're-
retro handheld.
It's not right. It's not. It's just we put them in this chart for reference.
Right.
But
Let's go in here. Let me quit this. Once again, so we're not running any turnip drivers right now. We're running stock. So let me install a turnip driver. Do you know, Andrew, what perhaps might be the best turnip driver for this chipset?
Anything after R19, which I'm pretty sure you're going to have anyways.
Yeah, I got turnip. It looks like the newest one is 25 2.0 R2,
Let me double check. Hold on one second.
2.0 R3,
I'll close that window.
25 it says emulator. I mean the
25,
newest
do you have 2510, 25.2 dash R10?
dash R10. No.
Because I put that, it's in that folder I sent you earlier.
Well,
Yep, that doesn't help.
Why don't we do R3 Auto? Let's see what we get with that. It's like the newest one I have preloaded on here.
Okay.
Let's see. We already did Mario Kart. We did Mega Man. What's one that really pushes Switch emulation? Do you all know? Zelda usually is pretty annoying,
yeah,
but it's
Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild.
Wild, yeah.
Mario Odyssey will probably we'll push it. It's going to be Nintendo's IP.
Yeah. This is another game I own, Nintendo, by the way, but I own it as a digital copy on my Switch too. So why don't we just pull up? Let's see. I don't have internet on here right now.
Why do you have 2K18 installed? What is happening?
What? Because it runs better on the Switch too. Come on.
Oh, but
Come on
it's
now.
like it's 7 years old.
Yeah, but it's the only wrestling game that's WWE that you can play at all on the Switch, on any Switch. I think it's going to be mad at me here. Real.
What's wrong? Oh, you have a software update available, and you're in airplane mode. Oh,
I think it's going to let me play in airplane mode. Yes.
nice.
So see, and I own this game, Nintendo. I'm allowed to legally back it up, man.
You got FPS shown in the top right?
Yeah, I do.
What's it saying?
It's very teeny tiny. 56.
Oh, that's just
Oh,
temperatures.
that's temperature. You're right. Let me get FPS. What is it? I think overlay FPS counter. We're looking at 24, 27. We're looking at turnip drivers. There's the 30. That's what we want. This doesn't have the 60 FPS patch installed, by the way.
No, that's actually fine though, because not everybody knows to install that patch.
I'm going to do a new game just for samesies sake. Oh no, I just overwrote my save data. Damn it. Well, I was only 60 hours into that game.
Oh, no, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I was like, okay, overwrite my save file, my only save. All right. Damn it, Nintendo. Why can't I start a second? I guess I need to make a new profile on the Switch well, that's...
I thought you could have multiple saves.
Yeah, I'm just dumb. I just did something stupid.
Stubbs.
It's all right. I don't even remember where I was at in the story. It's been so long, so I could probably use with a refresher. Look, when life gives you lemons, make a margarita.
Yep, that's the saying.
Thanks, Money. That's right. We did legally back it up. We are going to end the stream here in about, I don't know, probably after this game. The D-pad, though, as far as, more testing on that, if you want to see just in the weeds stuff, there will be a second live stream. We'll do more testing. I'll take your game requests. We'll have some fun for a few hours. I'm aiming for probably later this weekend on that. And we are maxing out the performance right now. I want to see this is in the dark. Got a little slowdown right there.
How do the buttons in D-pad compare to the DMG?
Oh, I like the buttons a lot more than the DMG because they're squishy rubber membrane. So, they just feel better. And the D-pad is very tall for a D-pad on an AYANEO device because you can swap it out with this dish style. And if you want to see that in action, I guess we can just pulls right off.
Oh, that's nice.
And pop this on.
Can you accidentally remove the regular D-pad? Oh, I guess
Yeah.
you can do that too.
You can pull it up.
Is it just
It just
magnetic?
pops right off. No, it's adhered. Oops. Let's go back over there. No. Well, you know what you get because I did that? You get one more Switch game tested. What do you want? What does everybody want? Let's see what I have on my Switch too. Let's see. Can I do Mario Wonder?
I hate how small these joysticks are on the 557.
Screen comparison while we're at it. Skyrim, that'd be interesting. We'll do that on the next. So there you go. Nintendo, I also own this digitally. Look, see. This time I'm not going to overwrite my save file.
Please don't.
Yeah, my son and I are making our way through this one.
Oh, nice.
Let's be samesies. And I can go back, I think, to the first level so we can get the same. And we're getting full speed here.
This is
Ooh, that vibration.
purchase impulse.
Dude, the vibration on this feels really nice. The haptics. Oh, the Pocket Ace has such good haptics too. But I mean, this is good haptics. I like that. Ooh. Okay. All right. Well.
What performance profile are you running on?
I'm running on max right now. Yeah, it's on the max performance. I'm not going to mess with it because it's going to break. It's going to freeze the game up.
Oh yeah, no, I was just didn't know if you what was that. That's all.
Help! No, seriously, send help. I've been trapped here. I'm trapped against my will.
By Tiberius.
Yeah, you know him. He keeps tricking me.
Yeah, he keeps tricking you with his names too.
Yeah. That rascal. You know what? This is payback for me locking ban in my attic.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the FPS. We're getting a clean 60 there on this one. And the IPS panel, you know what? I would say the panel to me looks just a little bit more saturated than the Switch 2, but let me know your thoughts. Hopefully it's not too pixelated, but it's very samey, very, very similar. We also get a variable refresh rate on this screen, don't we? This goes up to, what, 120? On the Switch 2 and on the...
Good question. I should know that off the top of my head, and I don't.
We're getting some compatibility there, but yeah, this is good. This is good. This is a really nice device to play Switch on so far.
I think this is just a 60 hertz panel.
Is it just 60 hertz? Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me. Even in the Pro?
I don't see anything about refresh rate anywhere, and they would normally put that, like, make it one of the front and center things.
All right. Okay, just 60 hertz. So there you go. Switch 2 beats it as far as the panel goes. But if you want the best, most performant for your money for emulation, it's still going to be the get a Steam Deck Bro crowd. It's still going to be your Windows x86 emulation options, MSI Claw 8, all that, ROG LIX. But for $440 to start, and this one at around the $500-$600 price point, really, really high-end Android. And for people who enjoy having that switchable D-pad, it's nice to have that option. So if you're interested in this, available in our description. Indiegogo is up right now. This does ship in July. It has that Snapdragon G3 Gen 3 6.3-inch display for the Pro model. The non-Pro, a little smaller, 8,000 milliamp hour battery versus the 10,000 milliamp hour battery in here. And the non-Pro, also a little bit smaller screen. 1440p on the Pro. Oh, is it 1440p on all three? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there's no like
That's
screen
cool.
difference, screen res differences here.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah, so there's the specs if you're interested. I know many of you AYANEO folks are going to be into this. And it's a linear motor for that vibration. 0815 x-axis, if that means anything to you. The weight, the one thing I would say for me is just it's a little bit heavy, but not bad. Not bad. It really does feel like a little bit heavier Switch Lite to me, and Switch is a highlight on here. That's why I wanted to highlight that today, not only for performance sake, but it's just a cool device to play Switch on. It just feels good for that with the screen aspect ratio and where everything's kind of placed. I mean, they obviously, I think, modeled it after maybe a Switch Lite as far as the design goes, because it just feels like it's meant for Switch emulation. That's a main thing. And Android gaming. Yeah, we can do some PS3 emulation on this. We're going to be able to do, of course, everything below. PS2, GameCube, Wii, Wii U, PSP, Vita. All that is on the table here. But today's stream is focused on just the highest end emulation. Technically, that would be PS3, but that will take forever to load those games. So next time, everybody, next time. And thank you so much for your patience with me on my limited internet connection today and my kind of janky setup. We made the most of it. I hope it was an enjoyable stream. Stay tuned for more. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is this one that you're thinking of picking up? Do you want to wait for something a little bit more performant? And yeah, I'm going to turn that fan down. That is loud, dude.
I don't even hear. I just hear music playing when you're talking, so I don't even hear the fan.
Yeah, you see Mario Wonder music. Let's see. I like that the volume even is in the same place as you see up top, along like a switch. Honestly, we could probably turn the brightness down even. I have the brightness down pretty far right now. But yeah. All right, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Andrew, thanks for hanging out with me, man. Do you have any... I know you don't have one in hands right now, but do you have any final thoughts on this from seeing what it's been like in action?
I want to get my hands on that chip. I want to try things. I personally want to try things out like the PS3 and win later stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Rob will... I'm sure Rob will be handling that kind of stuff if he ends up getting one. Hopefully, AYANEO will send him one.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so too. I want to see more reviewers get this. I know Russ from Retro Game Core is on the list now, so he's going to be getting this. So stay tuned for his review. ETA Prime has a video out. There's not much out there yet. So I'm going to continue to give you live streams, and I might have time to get a dedicated video out. But really, Russ is the dude, I think, for those produced reviews. And of course, Zoo reviews. Maybe I'll send this to Zoo. We'll see. But stay tuned as well this week. We're going to be doing the 040. We're going to be doing a video and a live stream. I'm going to try to film that ASAP. ASAP. Okay, well, everybody, until the next one, let's get this outro music going. I want to thank you all once again so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks to our channel members, our patrons, and our subs for making this show, this channel possible. Perks with RH start for as little as only $3 a month, and that really supports us. We really thank you. It makes everything possible for us here, what we're doing. Join us in our Discord if you want to chat with us, play some video games, play some Game of the Month, and join us on the podcast every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, where we talk about the latest, greatest in handheld and emulation news. Join us for more device live streams. You're going to be seeing a lot more from me as far as these device live streams go. That is my new kind of bread and butter and what I have time for. Until the next time, this has been Stubbs on behalf of Andrew saying, take care of those handhelds, everybody. And take care of each other, too. I mean it.